It's been announced everywhere that there will be 3 days of celebration and feasts, and basically it's got to be very, very lavish.
Now the crown. You need this jewel right there on the crown. It can't go anywhere else. It must be right there. And
Are there any things your characters would like to sort of make happen inside there? Because they probably can at this point.
Yeah, Cairen would probably travel to Hall and organize a special 3-day special event in his tavern, the Dragon's Heart.
Yes.
To spread the goodwill to the other cities too. So that everyone can celebrate the new rulership.
We will send invitations to everyone. Like everyone
in the kingdom,
alive.
every single person.
Yes, everyone is invited to Mathrin for this grand celebration. If you're here, you're going to be part of the celebration. Like if you're from other side of the country, have a sandwich and a beer. You know, part of the celebration. And for those nobles who have survived, you're all invited, of course.
There is going to be, as he said, helping design the crown. Also helping design Sir Bellefort's speech. It needs to be grand.
Baroness Venya, of course. Zacharias will invite Tiberius. Brother Thrain and some of the Mithrons might want to come along.
What about Starlin?
Starlin? Oh, he's invited if he wants.
Cat loves Starlin. I don't remember why.
I just do.
We could also travel to.
That says it.
We could travel to Chiliax and invite the nobles there, and
they won't get here in a week.
Well, teleportation.
A strange group of drow and liches and horrible creatures arrive. I can teleport you to a kingdom far from here.
Do you want Cash to change?
Just an idea.
I don't think. Has the rule been changed, Malachi? Did Victor change the rule?
The rule for what?
About drow in the public?
There's no rule about drow in public. There's no rule about drow in public.
Well, that drows can walk the street without getting annoyed at...
No, there's never a law against it. It's more
you
a
can do that.
thing.
You can just go and go out. No one's gonna attack you on sight.
Well, Rick...
Many people with the council and king.
We could at least send an invitation to Chiliax. They don't have to come.
You have this eerie aura that you've done some terrible, great things.
I killed a dragon. That's all the aura says. Who would you even send it to? I don't think they really get that much mail.
To whom it may concern.
You send to everybody, basically.
Yeah, everyone is
because it's probably not the people who handle the mail.
No. I like Chiliax just as much as anyone. Not that.
Invite Shargamon.
No.
Also, the dwarves deliver mithril scepter, crown, and what's that other thing?
Scepter, crown, and apple.
Called? Yeah, it's called mithril apple.
Sure. Do we have a fancy cape made of ferret or something?
Mithril cape.
Red cape.
Red cape, yeah.
Like chainmail on top. Chainmail cape. Berthel will wear his finest armor. Really polished.
Yeah.
Splintering with hellish runes.
Who has that?
Verify, I think.
Oh. But I don't
No one
So
will read them.
his ceremony armor just looks like my armor.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Also, try to not look like a murderer of 1,000 countries when you walk around and talk to people. If at all possible.
Well, Deserter's invited, right?
Of course he is.
And he doesn't need to hide, surely.
Well,
he'll be fine.
We'll even invite Nebros.
Could he Nebros? I really like the sandwiches. Yes.
What about that happy devil?
Imagine him showing up.
Devil the happy one.
The Barb Devil.
Barbabus or something like
Cerebos?
Cerebos. We should invite him.
I don't think we want him to show up because he just murder people.
What about Theodora?
Theodora's invited. She can't kill anyone, but she's invited.
She's just gonna clench.
She could dance with Zacharias. It would be great.
Sure.
Surely
trick
she wants to
them.
dance with Zacharias, right?
Yay!
Rodrigo will be there. In the evening.
Yes.
Who? Rodrigo?
Yeah.
Why won't he be there in the day? Oh,
Because
No,
he'll
because
explode.
of his condition.
oh yeah. Did
There's
you
a condition.
turn him?
Oh yeah, he's turned.
Why would you
Yeah.
do that?
So he can be awesome.
Oh,
But he
he's
was.
even more pretty.
Yeah, now
No,
he's
I
prettier and he's cool.
I like
And-
And he
the
won't
daylight-
ever talk back.
And there's a daylight self-destruct sequence.
Will Timian be there? Grumblejack?
In the evening also,
Yeah.
Timian's also a vampire.
God damn it, you just take everyone, don't you?
They're from Farhold, a delegation.
Oh no, the phone.
Comely-looking guards dressed in black with grey
Yeah.
skin. Just,
Well, and also some
Bat
guys who can
engravings.
come out in the day dressed in like awesome.
they have like big
armor
wolves
and-
with spiked chains on them.
They arrive in black coaches, driven by a mad, like hunchback.
Actually, Menica, I have a question. When Vestromo gave me this cloak thing that lets me go out in the day, did he make it, or was it just like an artifact that he had?
Huh?
The cloak thing, of the shadows or whatever that I can
Made
go out
it.
in the day. He made it. Mm.
Who made it?
I wonder if he can tell me how.
I still
Probably good.
have.
If you wanted to.
I also still have something in my notes. That's basically some schematics for something called the Cloak of the Daywalker. No,
That's
it.
what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I could potentially also make it then. I guess I
Good.
haven't looked
Hey.
into it. No.
What is the Cloak of Shadow thing?
The Cloak of the Daywalker, it lets vampires go out in the daylight. It like removes their sunlight immunity. And it makes them like
Sunlight
surrounded by
weakness.
shadow all the time. Or yeah, their shadow weakness rather. Or sunlight weakness. I can't.
Can
There we go.
Vela and Vela
The
come?
one.
Or-
No.
Garethon can come though, right?
Sure.
No.
What? Why not?
Does Cairen allow him to come?
No.
Yeah.
You can't have him at the ball. It's a feast. It's people should
Exactly.
be happy.
Do you know how much he can
he
feast?
has
He'd
an-
be perfectly
He
fine.
has an aura of dread around him that makes normal people crazy with fear. No, he can't be here.
So do you.
No, I suppress it. That's why I'm in my human form.
He can too. He can.
No, he can't suppress it.
He can
sorry,
be one of the
she-
butlers.
But I,
Little
Jonas?
tux.
Jonas, there is a way he can suppress it. Polymorph any object!
That's true. I
You
can
know,
polymorph it.
Geraphon, if he wants to watch the celebrations, he can like circle over Methrin, but he probably doesn't want to
Ominously
come
like
to.
a giant black vulture.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to come to any ball anyways.
We're here to
No,
party,
no,
we're
he's
not-
busy.
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
what?
He's on the sofa.
But
eating
doing
little
dragon
donuts.
things.
He's capturing a princess.
Eating whales and procrastinating.
Yes, he's good at that.
Ooh, can Halfus come?
We should invite Halthus, yes. So we can show off his.
Yeah,
his-
don't invite the black dragon, but the crazy
He
torturer
is
guy.
so
sure.
nice. He talks to the ladies so sweetly.
You know,
He's our guest of honor.
okay, I was kidding with the Halfus.
He'd be like, I
We're
have
not.
any tools.
I really
Things I
think
could do to you.
We're not kidding with Halpus. Halpus! More the merrier.
I don't think that's a good idea, but
Isabel?
No.
So basically only humans.
Yes.
is Cash invited?
Zacharias will invite Mott as well.
Cash is probably not invited then.
No, sorry. Cash.
Why is Tessida invited?
Well, he's a councilman.
He has to be there.
Cash is a council person.
You're
too.
coming. We're not stopping you coming.
Ryder can come, sure, but just don't be.
He'll be anything people want.
There we go.
He'll be my wingman.
Whatever makes a scandal.
There we go.
What makes this guy more than the Drow? The Drow and a partner.
You know
Ryder
what?
Ryder would
show
say he
up
thinks
as a
he can do it.
drow.
Drow
Can
and
he, can he be a drow? So Cash won't feel alone.
He could.
Thank you.
So the Scaddo is not
Showing
a
the-
Drow.
The
The Scaddo is a
sigils
pair of
demon
Drow.
lords and
they
yeah.
they walk in. Everyone looks around. The hand goes to their chest. They're like, "Oh no!" And they faint.
And the dragon comes in like, oh god, and then the frost giant, oh,
No, the dragon is not coming in.
the hellish Medusa and
No, she's not coming.
Rumblejack,
demon.
the
Rumblejack.
vampire coaches.
Yeah,
like
Raised
a party of
hunchbacks.
the macabre. Yeah.
Was Grumblejack gonna be there?
I don't.
Normal Jackson's Farhold right now.
He needs a bit of cleaning up
T-Man can come along.
in the evening.
Yes.
They'll fly here on wings of the dead.
He doesn't want to arrive in the black coach.
On wings of darkness.
Okay,
The
sure.
coffin inside. Yeah.
You've got to bring a coffin everywhere.
Yeah, but basically, it's gonna be the most lavish party any of you have ever been to.
Yes.
It is like insane. Talked about for generations to come.
Awesome.
Completely mad. You know, in the cathedral, where Ethel walks up the sort of the floor of the great mithril cathedral, the holy solace of the faith, and the sort of the cardinal of Mithrin faith puts the sort of trembling hands, puts the crown on his head, and coronates him as the king of Telangard.
Long live the king!
Here, and then the festival begins,
Party.
which is just everything you have dreamed of for
Speech.
a long time.
Speech.
Speeches are held, certainly, and some of you have speeches.
No.
And what are they? Could you tell us a bit of the speeches?
You know, this Azurius' speech will be absurdly long, so I'll only give you pieces, but that'll be fine.
He brings a very long parchment.
It is basically the scroll which you open and that which rolls down.
Yeah,
the,
rolls down.
Down,
Stairs
down, like out the back, and
Yep.
You know, Azurius keeps all his attention for a very long time.
He's very charismatic, though.
4 days later,
He
we
is-
walk out like, grab the nearest food cart and eat it.
He's such a firebrand preacher, though, when he gets going.
Hey,
Azurius can talk.
I see sinners. Yes, I do.
Yes, Azurius' speech will
you
be
need to hear what I have to say.
Azurius' speech will be a combination of talking about how Sir Berefor, with all his heroicness, was able to do the war, basically praising him and trying to boost his image in the public eye. At the same time as basically trying to take the whole situation that happened with the devils the other day and spin it. In the case that, well, of course, the Mithrans believe that those that have sinned should be punished harshly and divinely, and therefore the same had happened when the king had when our new king had entered, and then the people who were against the idea of a peaceful land were ready to commit something. Retribution met them. Etc. You get the idea where but basically trying to boost our image as much as possible. Also, partially seeming to show off a little bit, but only slightly.
It was the sinners that got what they deserved. Yes.
And then of course a large bit about may there be peace in our times and prosperity for the future. Long live the king.
Wow, 53. That's
Pretty good.
That's pretty damn fucking good.
If Azurius has time to prepare, he's damn good.
Yeah.
That was a natural 20, by the way.
I have no idea what to give a speech about.
So Marcus gets up there like, you must speak.
You had
Like shoved out into the lamplight like a deer staring. Like
He just dominates
No.
everyone, and they think his speech was amazing.
Yeah. Well, no, I can. I mean, basically,
I don't
he'll.
want to be a dictator. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone.
you can go on the militaristic route, being like, oh, we need.
Yeah, no, I can describe like all the things like we need to do this, and if we do all this, then it will be awesome.
to make
and
a
no
more
one-
secure and peaceful nation for the future.
I have three
Exactly,
words for
yeah.
you: tyranny, slavery, hell.
Obedience, yeah.
Possibly
So,
bring
I mean, you can definitely do the
Well,
Adam
no, I'm
Sutler
gonna, yeah, no,
speech.
I'm gonna,
Be like, yes,
I'm gonna
a
go
unit,
on the
strength.
whole thing where, yeah, no, like Dark said, for a more peaceful nation for the future, and kind of, describe like as long as you guys follow these simple guidelines, then everything will be awesome.
reclaiming what we have lost, reclaiming the areas near the watch wall, bringing back what should be ours, and then
No one can tell if he's telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
But he
yeah.
sounds so eloquently.
Yeah, and I'm a little
Look at that helmet.
intimidating also.
Grrr!
Well, no, not like
But
that.
if you
but
cannot
just like,
follow the rules, you will fucking be murdered. Your family will
not
suffer
quite
whatever.
like
we will
that.
salt the
Like
earth.
darkness
How else
falls
are you
around him.
intimidating?
straight out threaten them. I'm intimidating. People wanna. Not only do they not know if I'm telling the truth or not, they think I'm telling the truth, and they
Then the next round they turn hostile.
no, they're like, wow, this guy we shouldn't really fuck.
You only
with
turn hostile if you fail an intimidate check. You telling me a 48 fails?
Strength
Yeah.
through
And
unity, unity
Yes,
through
there's one
faith.
guy.
As always, Telengard prevails.
Yeah, of course. That was an
party
18.
back in Erementhus
Yeah.
Isle with all the people who are not invited.
That was an
the
18 and a
VIP
19.
parties over at Dragon Isle. With
Schemers party.
all the cool kids show up. We offer you order, we offer you peace, and all we want in return is your silent, obedient consent.
There's a lot of people here. It's hard to keep track of everyone, obviously. Even at like the royal party afterwards, held again by in the Lothin allows for the use of the Bakken home to host the royal party.
So very generous.
As he assures people that soon enough the area will be rebuilt, but for now I'll have to do with this. When the area is rebuilt, he's sure there will be a great ball there, like the old king had. But better.
Will Venya be there?
Yeah, she's here.
Cash would like to talk to her.
Sure.
Can she bring Trick?
Cash probably can.
Look
There's
at
a lot of
this
trouble
guy! Am I right?
Trick is dressed up really seductively.
He's always dressed like that.
He's dressed like that one guy from Throne of Night.
Yes.
Or rather,
No.
not dressed.
Exactly. It's more like what he's not wearing than what he's wearing, you know what I'm saying?
No. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
dressed as. Probably some.
So-
thingy.
So the party generally sort of goes well. A lot of people eat and drink and sort of make merry. Some people may even forget what happened until they maybe wake up in the morning or something.
Oh my.
Yeah. New crown jewels are certainly something, and when placed upon the head in front of everyone, in front of all the important people, outside of the cathedral on the hill, everyone sort of standing in the street looking up, the crown glows red, and it gets infused with power, and it becomes clear to those who know those sort of magical things, a magic item by the sheer magnitude of the process. Becoming a crown of hell,
Tell me
aptly
more.
enough.
That
There's a reason-
seems appropriate.
Nice
The reason
going,
I was-
Astorius.
There was a reason I was handcrafting it.
That was
Did you really
with
plan for this?
surprisingly little fanfare, but okay, yes. What does the Crown of Hell do? What does it do?
Well, it is put on the head of him, and everyone who sees it can feel the power of it sort of spread out over the land. What it does, it makes you better against like being controlled or dominated or manipulated by magic. It sort of gives you an aura of evil. Also damage reduction thereby too. You can add will, breathe fire.
Wow.
You can also once per day flame strike
Oh.
for 12d6 damage. Once per week, you can call a host of devils to aid. And if a good character wears it, they lose levels.
Okay.
Sounds like a good thing to have an old king, right?
Sure.
Who?
As
Okay.
the mithril crown sort of twists and turns into becoming a barbed, blackened, spiked, silvery gray.
Is it because Asurius made it, or is it because
Who knows?
Asmodeus is doing something here?
But the sky certainly turns sort of dark with the
I like to
sun
think of it
shining
both.
red when it happens, and the priest sort of shakes on his hands, clearly not seeming happy about this whole thing. He's but an old man, though.
Yes, we will take care of him quite soon. Yes.
Oh,
And as such,
old people are unfortunately prone to accidents.
telling God has a new king.
Yay!
Long live the king.
Long live the king. Long.
King Havelin the First.
May he not be our last.
Yeah, we need to set him up
Um,
for some more of that stuff later, I guess. I'm sure
Is-
Cash can help.
But what?
Well, he needs heirs.
Get a wife for him. Like Pandora is free, right?
Oh,
You know, we need heirs. We need.
You're
Oh
like-
my Jonas! Royal marriage with Chiliacs.
well, you know, I thought you liked Pandora.
She's the only one who listens.
That's true.
It's because she's also like Zacharias accidentally touched her at some point and she's paralyzed permanently, but he doesn't notice. She's just lying there like, help!
And
And with that, it is signed. Mallory is very happy because this means that his change is now official. He laughs a whole lot about the whole thing, and he leaves the party early to get to work.
You know,
A lot of counting to do.
yeah, I can imagine.
He has to count all the money.
The money! He loves it.
As other merchants sort of cry and in their sleep and have to sell their businesses to him for pennies.
that's sad.
They can, there are new businesses opening up. They can go into those instead.
Why is Asurius 30 feet up?
He's hovering.
Because I have
I
not
thought
changed.
you were gonna
that
say
one.
30 feet tall, and I'm like,
I've not-
what?
I have not changed from last time we did combat.
Did you know
haven't
my
done it.
character is 30 feet tall? Everybody.
That's one of those moments again, is it?
Yeah, one of those griff moments.
Well, regardless, however you all celebrate these days of sort of partying, basically.
And I know how it's
The first official sort of meeting with a king.
Yes.
So now we'll change.
also, our living party
Thor.
members.
Do you have a?
Ash,
Do you have?
Cairen.
Yeah.
King.
So since very, very, very early on in the game, very early on, I bought a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Basically, the moment we got out of Fawn's training area, I bought this. And I waited for it until a moment where we had finally succeeded in becoming one of the best. I believe now is the best time to open it.
Oh,
To us.
You probably
bad.
do that. You probably do this when you're sort of with the other sort of party members, right?
Oh,
Just
Zacharias, do you want to
You know-
taste? Do you want
You
to?
know,
Zacharias just glares at you.
Probably Marcus and Zacharias will be around, but they can't. I mean, they can have a glass if they want, but they can't.
It just splash all over Zacharias' robes.
Yeah, no. He's not gonna, Zacharias will say that he appreciates the gesture. But that he will not partake in drinking the beverage itself.
It's pretty fine wine though. It's been sitting in my bag of holding for all this time, getting ready.
Cairen, suffice to say, does partake in drinking this beverage.
Yes. So does Cash. Does
Can I have your glass, Zacharias?
Does Cairen want to do a drinking game?
Sure.
I mean, with one bottle of wine.
You know,
It's a start.
we can get more. But to the Whispering Lords.
The Whispering
Indeed.
Lords.
Spring
She's
Lords.
here alone.
Marcus, Zacharias.
So you know, actually, maybe Zacharias have like memorized a polymorph spell for tonight, so he could actually turn into human.
I don't think that's how it works.
Spells don't work on objects.
Maybe they do this night. I don't know.
Polymorph any object!
Yes, polymorph any object on
Regardless,
himself.
everyone's sort of sitting down, talking. It's just you there.
The point is we can still have a toast.
Cairen's there.
Definitely.
Everyone's
Yes,
drinking
Cairen
the
is there.
wine.
Yes.
What?
Everyone looks at
Oh.
Cairen.
Oh, I get it now.
One moment. We need to be slightly more inquisitional. Can we move the chair?
No.
What?
Just surround him.
No,
We need a chair here and a chair here.
you know. Oh, I'll just take this chair.
Sure.
And you two can sit there.
But now he's going to be free on this side.
Cash can drape herself over the king's chair.
Yeah. Oh, it was made for me.
I love Cher.
It should have been mine.
It's mine.
Drow Queen of Tellingar.
Oh, Cash is drunk again.
Cat can't get.
So,
Have a bottle.
Cairen, it strikes me, Zacharias says, swirling the wine a little bit in his glass, not really touching it.
So weird, Zacharias.
I know. It strikes me, Cairen, that you have certainly been a part of this group now for years. And we know so little about you. My own
Cairen.
story is quite well known for the party at this point. Same goes with Marcus, Asurius, and Cash, I believe, but you have remained a mystery. Perhaps then, at this, the dawn of our new kingdom, our new power, it is actually a good idea for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. The whole Telemundus business, for instance. What is that about? He smiles.
Cairen glances over to Zacharias, then finishes his large glass of wine, putting it down, and simply shrugs and says, well, what exactly do you want to know? I suppose I can answer whatever it is you want to know. I'm not keeping my past secret, it just hardly matters to me.
Why, everything, of course, Cairen.
Well, let's see, I was son of farmers. I lived in the town of Turbanon that you might have heard about some time ago. Grew up,
Zacharias thinks, has he heard of this town?
probably not. It's
Probably not.
Probably not.
Although,
Are you
if
lying?
he has, he likely has just heard it as what is apparently an unfertile field somewhere in the southern part of the kingdom.
No.
That's sad.
Nobody really goes there. Doesn't seem to be there anything.
Well, I grew
Or
up...
some bandits or something.
Yeah, there's bandits. Well, I grew up tending the fields and livestock as farmers do, until I decided, well, that wasn't something for me, so I let the others do it. But, well, as things went on, I eventually realized that I could do things, magic and things like that. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing, of course. It was quite embarrassing at times, since I hardly managed to control it back then, so I often snuck off and just practiced.
And cause mischief, I assume.
Sometimes.
I think we're both guilty of that when we got our powers.
Smiles slightly, takes another drink from somewhere.
Zacharias muses on the mischief Asurius did, burning down a church.
But the mischief I'm referring to is before that.
Oh, sure.
Well, but I suppose the interesting part is that some months later, after I discovered my powers, a certain traveler showed up in Turbanon. He was quite the celebrity at the time, with travelers being so rare in the town at all, and everyone seemed to like him basically immediately upon seeing him. I didn't quite. He had that sort of smile that makes you shiver. Just look into your mirror, you'll know what I mean. He...
Zacharias cocks his head a little bit.
Yeah, Zacharias.
Cairen smiled at the joke. Well, he
Marcus feels
approached
hurt.
me.
Marcus can't look at the mirror anymore. It's like
He approached me and... Well, he told me some things of what was going on with me in particular, that my powers were apparently the result of dragon blood or something like that.
So he knew you?
It seemed so. He talked very little about himself, only answering my questions and things about myself. Never really offered information freely. He would answer whatever I asked him, but that was about it. He was a strange fellow, to say the least. Never quite learned his name either. Well, suffice to say, some days later he said that he'd be leaving. He never suggested or even implied anything, but I always knew that I was destined for something, you know? Just that this farming life would not be the end of me. And, well, it hasn't been. But when he said he was leaving, I knew that he wanted me to do something, that I wanted me to do something. This farmer's past of being son of peasants, surrounded by peasants all my life, this was not for me. It was something I wanted to get rid of. He pauses, takes another drink. So that night I killed everyone. Lost control quite intentionally, just to see what I could do. I don't quite know how I did things, or if you know who was involved at the time. But when I woke up, everything was gone. Or in pieces, at least. It was quite the sight.
Rise muses. I can certainly sympathize. Old homes are meant to be destroyed, one could think.
Can we go to the Underdark then?
Well, we could, I guess.
I'm sad to say, unlike the two of you, I didn't have a part in destroying my home.
Maybe a small one.
You did burn down that church with the girl and the man inside.
It was not my home, though.
Well, technically at this point, I think all of us destroyed our home in some way or another. At least
Also, we've all
in the
destroyed a church
process.
at this point, lady.
I had nothing to do with that being coming up. At least I don't think so. I have anything to do with whatever's coming up from the Underdark.
I was referring to Telengard, since that what
Oh, well,
has been what we have been living in, but it does seem that now we have the chance to rebuild it however we like.
Terengar is not my home, though.
It might become your home, I suppose. Unless you want to leave again, of course.
I don't know. It's... You know, I hear rumors about Drow, and... So, yeah.
So you killed everyone in your village in a fit of perhaps draconic rage. You woke up and found it all destroyed. Barely remember anything. Is that correct?
Cairen nods.
That's like a normal night at the bar.
Yes.
Well, I do remember that the man, the traveler who arrived earlier, was still there, and... Well, he did say he wanted to leave, and so he did. And I followed, because, well, I wanted to know more about me, about what would happen, about what could happen. And he seemed like the person who would know. So we traveled north. He continued his trend of never telling me anything of particular worth unless I asked about it, and he would only answer questions about myself again. He did tell me quite a few things about myself, about magic, about other things, taught me to better control myself. But he never told me where we were going, what his name was, or who he was. At the time, that didn't really seem like a thing I was interested in. Cairen kind of shakes his head, takes another drink. Eventually we came close to a city on the road north, and then he said he had to leave. At the time, for whatever reason, I didn't quite question it and continued by myself. When I entered the city, they were waiting for me. As it turns out, the news of my actions had traveled quicker than we did. Then it was off to Brandiska, and you know the rest.
Do you know who that man is now?
Cairen shakes his head. No. It is a question I've been asking myself a lot, but... He shrugs. I suppose I might never find out. I just know that... Well, he told me who I was. He made me kill everyone I ever knew, and he led me on this way, which would eventually turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm not entirely sure whether to feel betrayed by his, well, betrayal, or feel grateful at this point.
Severus nods slowly.
Bit of gratitude.
And that would maybe explain a little bit how you ended up in Brandiska. Have you looked in any on the on your draconic heritage?
Cairen shrugs. The man told me that it is likely some sort of, how did he put it? Something that was dormant for quite a while in my family's bloodline. Something ages past that has just coincidentally surfaced in me so strongly.
Very well. Could you then perhaps enlighten us somewhat on the matter of Telemundus and how he come to inhabit you?
Cairen sighs. Well, I can tell you what I know, which is honestly not nearly as much as I would like. He probably would be better off telling it to you yourself, but you'd never do that, so I might as well. He is rather embarrassed by the happenings. You do know that he had a particular gripe with the dragon Eromenthus.
Yes.
For...
They're now late, I remember.
Yes, quite late. Well, Eromenthus was indeed the dragon who paid him a visit at some point, entering his lair uninvited, and quite rudely interrupted him when he wanted to know what the hell he was doing there. And by interruption, I mean of the quite violent kind. The fight was rather short, and Eromenthus took whatever it is he came there to do. I believe it was a particular crate of, well, something that was quite valuable to Telemundus. Perhaps not in the material wealth, but...
Is that the crate you have at your place now?
Cairen, yes, that is the crate.
What's inside of it?
A collection of particularly handsome-looking, some dragon would say, onyx bars. I don't quite get his fascination with it, other than them being the same color as he was. But sentimental value is sometimes difficult to explain. Especially for dragons, I suppose. Well, Eromenthus came, he took what he wanted and left, and also left Telemundus in a particularly bad state. A state that he knew would prove fatal over time. Over a very short amount of time. He had perhaps hours left just being incapacitated, bleeding out. Not particularly pleasant. And in that time he decided to try whatever he could think of to not perish in this place. He cried for help even, which is probably the reason why he would be embarrassed to talk about this. It was not a dignified sight, I'm sure.
You silent image, show us.
It is in my benefit to not annoy my current other half too much. Even talking to you about this is straining him rather something at the moment.
Zacharias just has a wide smile, just twinkle in his eye.
Well, suffice to say that something eventually answered, and well, that's pretty much all I know about that.
He
His next memory was, I do believe, fighting a group of monks in the Vale.
So he was moved in to you by some being?
It seems likely. He does have vague memories of dealings of, well, a contract of some sort, the constraints of which are only vague. As it turns out, he has indeed managed to somehow, in his last death throes, to make a deal with Hell. To survive, or kind of at least, his particular incident, in return for service, until he could, well, give something back eventually. Something that he cannot quite give back while being in his current situation. It is quite in his interest to eventually have a body back. And it is also in my interest, as it looks right now. We are cooperating, yet I do believe that should we share this particular body for a much longer time, one of us will eventually simply stop existing. Perhaps we'll merge into some sort of dual being or something, but we'll never quite be the beings we were. And neither of us quite wants that, as you might understand.
Oh,
Which is why you called in that gnome, right?
He would be offended after being called a gnome, but yes, Benjamin is not my acquaintance, but Telemondus's, in fact. He was approached by him at, I don't know, some 3-4 decades ago in his lair with talk of, well, awesome creations of half-dragons and other beings, something he was thoroughly uninterested at the time. And Benjamin was, in fact, the one who gifted him the crate of onyx bars.
So, would you actually, as I sort of snickers a little bit, would you actually call him Telemundus's friend?
Even Cairen snickers slightly at that. Well, friend would be going too far, I think.
Telemundus has a friend, and
Their relationship after being made that offer by Benjamin ended rather explosively, as a dragon does not like to get disturbed a lot. Only the rather pleasing gift of said onyx bars actually managed to have Benjamin keep his life at the time. It was not him who decided that Benjamin might be good to employ, but me, as I was indeed interested in what he might achieve.
so is your plan then to have Benjamin construct some sort of simulacrum for Telemundus to inhabit, or do you, or is that why you keep Yarathon around?
oh my.
Cairen shrugs. Well, I can tell you that much. There are some plans in progress, but the specifics are still rather vague. I do not think that... Pauses. Geraphon is a plan B, let's put it that way.
Very well.
Talk about family ties.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine Telemundus and Yarathon in the same body? Ugh.
I think Telemundus' plan is to kill
Just-
Geraphon and Sigurd.
Just kill him, destroy his soul. It'd be like a lich almost.
Does that answer your questions about me then?
I think so. Let's see, anything else? I don't really have any more questions now, but I am kind of feverish, so I'm not thinking particularly straight. So I might be
Cairen,
forgetting something.
what Telemundus is fighting for right now is quite clear. What are you fighting for, though? Why do you keep going?
Big sigh.
You've conquered everyone in your path.
Big sigh from Cairen. Yeah, I suppose you have a point. I've beaten everyone. I've done more than anyone else could, well, apart from you guys, I suppose, could ever achieve. But when I said I always knew that I was destined for something, I still don't quite feel that this is it. It is difficult to explain. I feel like I'm locked in a box, like there's still something I need to get out of to... Pauses. I don't think I'm fit for this whole being human business. I feel like there's more. There's got to be more. Imagine that if you had a subconscious, just imagine for a moment. But instead of teaching you morals, teaching you what is right or wrong, it just keeps saying that you aren't quite what you were supposed to be, that you aren't quite what you could be. And I think that is probably what drives me. I have no interest in Telengard, really. I mean, kind of pauses. I have little interest in Telengard. I have some interest in Telengard, let's put it that way. I am not particularly religious. I do approve of the tenets that Asmodeus in particular likes, I suppose, but I think what truly drives me is finally finding what's right for me, you know? Finally being right.
You're searching.
Well, transcending one's humanity is certainly something I can relate to, I should think.
I believe you've related a little far, if we think from Cash's perspective. You've gone through one of the most extreme transformations.
Who has? Cigarettes?
Mm-hmm.
What about Marcus?
And it was hard earned, no doubt. Cigarettes nods. Very well, I am a talkative mood. I suppose I could also give you a piece of my mind when it comes to Telengard. Personally, the kingdom itself is of little interest to me. It could burn or sink into the sea for all I care. But there is something that amuses me with forming this country into an image that is much more pleasing to me. As you all know, I vehemently, if that is the word, opposes the Mithran faith, and I will confess, but you already know, of course, that I'm not particularly fond of Asmodeus either. Looks over to the Asmodeus.
You're taking the lesser of your two hatreds at the moment.
Yes, indeed. I choose the greater evil, so to speak.
I suppose so.
He smiles. Because why go for the lesser? No, the kingdom has potential, however. There is something here I have started to build years ago, and it is coming into fruition now. The Void Senate is on the precipice of declaring itself openly in this kingdom. When I do, I will have considerable influence when it comes to the arcane teachings and magics of this kingdom. It will be an organization upon we can build much. I have, over the years, formed the Senate into a pillar that we can lean upon in times like these. This is what I made them for. He smiles. They will be invaluable to supporting this kingdom, I believe. Also financing and constructing a new magical academy for the kingdom has been a great boon. Tiberius and I see eye to eye on a great many things. And from that collaboration, There is a new foundation to build wonders upon. Yes, indeed. He nods.
Well, you're not the only one ingratiating yourself with what exists and enhancing it further. Talengard itself has been ripe with problems for our entire lives. We all agree with this. There's problems with this land. There's something very wrong with this country. Yet, here we sit now in the ability to change it. Why did I put my followers through the Mithran faith? Simple. Because if I take something that people already believe in, change it slightly, then just keep pulling on it, keep adding pressure. Eventually, we can break the hold they have, and then all of us will be free from oppression, and so will the people be free from their oppression. And we'll be able to change the things that are wrong with this country, and at least put in a new order that would benefit everyone. Even if your followers of the Arcane would benefit in the end. Why restrict them? Isn't that right, Zacharias?
Unrestricted inquiry and research and study has been my foremost goal ever since I fell prey to Leopold Hawklight, that infernal Inquisitor.
A fun man, nonetheless. Well, he's dead now.
Fun, I don't think he could spell to that even.
Did you even find your son after Starland?
Zachariah smiles. I have, yes. He is alive and well.
Are we ever gonna meet him?
Probably not.
Oh,
No happy family reunion for you.
scared I'm gonna do something to him.
Zachariah smiles. Even though it would be somewhat hilarious for you two to meet. He shakes his head. The boy is idealistic. His head is filled with the vacuous crap that the Mithrans had fed him over the years.
I can make him into a sinner.
That is already being arranged, Cash. Thank you, though.
If nothing else, my corruption of the Mithran Church may reach him by accident. It'd be pretty interesting.
The church is being destroyed, and he is being sheltered from the worst of it. He can't practice his religious tenets anymore for obvious reasons, but there are other pursuits he can chase in the meantime until things stabilize.
I just can't have my fun.
Oh, don't worry, lady.
Not with my son, you cannot.
You'll be able to have some fun, don't worry.
I'll find your son somehow, you just wait.
Zacharias looks at Cash. I would advise you to stay away from him, Lady Cash.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if he begs for me?
Are you really poking this one's Cash?
I am.
If I find out that you try to snare him somehow, Lady Cash, I will completely and utterly destroy you.
Even if your son begs for me?
He wouldn't beg for you unless you have manipulated him, of course.
Cash smiles and starts drinking.
You don't like Cash's powers of persuasion?
Oh, by the way,
Take the drink.
Brent the Scar is, for what I've heard, quite boring these days. There shouldn't really be any reason to go there at all.
No reason at all.
No reason at all.
Well, that would need changing.
Well, what I know is that there are some noble ladies there that are worth shacking, and that's it.